Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Tempcast. I am your host, Eric Zander, and with me today is my good friend, Steven.
Hello.
So, as you might notice, this is episode 43, and unfortunately, our good friend Alan John, who's the normal host, isn't here. Steven, I didn't tell you this, but we are on our 43rd episode, and the EOF cast is also on its 43rd episode, so we finally caught up with the Edge of the Forum podcast. It should also be noted that because Alan John is not here today, and he has missed a couple of Tempcast episodes, always with a good excuse, and we have been on several episodes of the EOF cast, we have technically been on more podcasts related to GBA Temp than Alan John has. Therefore, we are the podcast masters.
I don't think that math works out. He had like 38 episodes before we ever joined the other one.
Yeah.
He's missed less than 38 episodes of this.
Oh, wait. Oh. You know what? You make a gosh darn good point. But we're more consistent with the Tempcast. So we got that going for us. Anyway, we're about to pass up the EOF cast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Every week, week after week. Some weeks aren't so good. Some weeks are really good. It just sort of depends on what's going on, week by week. But we always want to give you something because we love you guys. We like talking to each other. We like talking about games. We like all the comments. We like the negative comments, especially.
If we didn't like the negative comments, we'd have no comments to like.
Exactly. Yeah. We're the epitome of professionalism on this podcast, and we I don't even know if that was the right word to use.
We would never take pot shots at our negative commenters.
No, we wouldn't. We love all of you guys.
Yeah, they're groovy, baby. They're shagadelic. Anyway, so we wanted to get something out kind of short this week. Obviously, this is E3 week, so there's going to be a lot to talk about next week, and we figured it would be a good idea to kind of touch on some of the non-E3 news. So there isn't a ton, but there's enough that it kind of warranted a little, maybe a mini episode to get this out. I feel bad that this is coming so quickly on the heels of last week, too, because I released that episode like 4 days late, I think.
Yeah.
Which, Eric screwed up our regular recording day, and, it screwed up. It really set me off schedule.
Yeah, I had to go and defend people at court and stuff, and it was like the case was dismissed, but, the Tempcast came a little late, so you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, I can't be expected to edit on a Monday. I do it Sunday. We record Saturday, I edit Sunday. It was obscene.
Yeah. You know what else is obscene? The tragedy that was the Summer Games Fest 2021.
So this is a little thing that Geoff Keighley's starting to get going, or trying to get going. He's the guy that does the Game Awards every December, and the Game Awards have increasingly just been like a mini E3. It's, a big press conference with lots of interviews with developers, world premieres, stuff like that. And he seems to be kind of gunning to become that guy for the entire industry. And so he slid the Summer Games Fest in right before E3 started. And if this is his attempt to dethrone E3, I don't think he's quite there yet. He does have a lot of the staples of E3, which is a lot of talk about non-video game stuff and a lot of celebrities popping in for no real reason. But he didn't necessarily have the games there.
Yeah.
So this was a 3.5-hour stream, I believe. We won't go through every game. There's a lot of indies there. There are a lot of trailers you can look at. Some of them are interesting. If you want to go on GBA Temp, there's a roundup of everything that happened there. But just to talk about some of the bigger titles that are there, the biggest one was they're doing a director's cut of Death Stranding, so Hideo Kojima was there. And I thought the more interesting thing was they did have a little interview with him beforehand where he spoke about how coronavirus has changed the way he looks at making games, how he's, rethinking his creative process, how he thinks this is like a world-changing event. It's going to change the way everything works, kind of like 9/11 did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
9/11.
And, you can see in some of his later games, post 9/11, he does have kind of a different worldview. I shouldn't say he has a different worldview, but he approaches certain things differently, I think. I thought that was really interesting, and as for Death Stranding itself, I really didn't like it when I played it. I might give the director's cut a shot because I love Kojima so much and I want to like this game. Maybe on the second go around, I'll know what to expect a little more. Maybe I can appreciate the good things that are in it. I don't know, but I'm just glad he's still working. I'm glad he can try to find an audience for that game, even though it's so bizarre. Well, because it's so bizarre and out there. There's not really a lot of solid details on what the director's cut is going to be. Really, the whole trailer is just a brief sneaking section where, what's his name, Norman Reedus considers getting in a cardboard box and then doesn't, and that's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah, just like Norman Reedus in The Walking Dead, he decides not to take the easy route, and he goes the long way around. It's like, hide in the box. No, I don't want to hide in the box. Why don't you just wear a suit of armor? No, I don't want to wear a suit of armor.
Why don't you get a real gun? No, I'm going to use a crossbow.
Exactly. Walking around. Norman, again, I say it time and time again, Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus is the funniest title for a video game.
It is. It's pretty great. And I wish they did like an Edge of Tomorrow Live Die Repeat thing where on the re-release they changed the name of the game to Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus, but
yeah. Oh wait. Speaking of changing names, isn't Rainbow Six? It's not going to be called Rainbow Six Quarantine. What did they change it to?
They changed it to Rainbow Six Extraction. That's happening tomorrow because we're recording this the day before E3 starts, and
we haven't seen any part of E3. I'm just predicting.
That's announced at the Ubisoft.
Yeah,
Eric,
I'm predicting.
Theater of the mind. The timeline. You fucking created the time paradox.
I'm predicting.
Okay, that's your new E3 prediction.
The name.
Okay. So so on the last episode of Tempcast, your prediction for Ubisoft was an Assassin's Creed 1 remake. Now you're changing it to. They'll change the title of Rainbow Six Extraction to, or change it from Quarantine to Extraction.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of out there, but if they do that, I'm calling it in advance because we're recording this on the 11th of June and not the 13th.
Absolutely. It's okay, buddy. You tried. It was a good effort at a transition. If you hadn't completely broken the time stream.
Yeah, so I guess going back to Summer Games Fest, because I fully predict that E3 Ubisoft's conference tomorrow is going to be amazing. And we're all going to be super excited for it, and we won't be disappointed at all. And they will announce Assassin's Creed 1. And they're not just going to announce a DLC to Valhalla. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands has been announced at the Summer Games Fest. So have you ever played Borderlands?
Played a little bit of the first one.
That was the one that people didn't like as much, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I didn't like it very much.
There you go. That's why you only played a little bit of it and didn't play the sequel. It's sort of like Kingdom Hearts. You only played a little bit of the first one and always got to bring it back to Kingdom Hearts.
I'll be going back to it, trust me.
I fully expect Square Enix to announce Kingdom Hearts 4 2 days from now on the 13th.
Hold on, going back to Borderlands, it has a weirdly big cast. Like, speaking of all the random celebrities that show up, the new Borderlands game stars Andy Samberg, Will Arnett, and Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. I'd hate to be snookered easily in by celebrity, but I like all of those actors, so...
I was going to say those actors fit well together in like what they typically do.
Yeah, they do. And Borderlands has that kind of sense of humor, doesn't it? I don't know a ton about it, but I know people like the writing. They think it's funny. I know everyone loves that handsome Jack character, whoever he is.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know. I'm sort of excited about that. That does sound interesting.
Yeah, and apparently it doesn't require you to know anything about the Borderlands lore.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And it's going to be like a high fantasy setting, apparently.
Neato.
So, I don't know. I'm actually pretty interested in that. That might be a good jumping on point for the series.
Yeah, that's one of the few highlights of the Summer Games Fest for sure.
Do you want to hear some really exciting news that came out of Summer Games Fest?
Not particularly, but you could go ahead.
Battlefield 4 is going to be free on the Amazon Prime gaming launcher.
Whoa.
Battlefield 4, a game that released in 2013.
You know what I'm most excited about?
What?
New Amogus content.
There is some new Amogus content. There's a new mode, hide and seek mode, new colors, cosmetics, achievements are being added.
Achievements.
Now you need to get the Amogus Platinum. That'll finally be what gets you to start playing.
Yeah, well, I played it a little bit on my phone. Hold on, wait. Is there because it's already out on PS4, right?
I don't think so.
Not yet.
I think it's everything but PS4.
Really?
It's been announced for PS4, but I don't believe it's out.
Oh no, it'll come out later this year.
Yeah, it's only on mobile, Windows, and Switch right now. Consoles are sometime this year.
Mm-hmm. I just want to know what the trophies are going to be.
Well, you'll be able to get ahead of them. You can use the Steam version as like a testing ground.
Well, Steam often has a lot more achievements than the consoles do because they don't really restrict it. So like this game has like 250 achievements that you can unlock.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't really care about Steam achievements because they're kind of gross like that.
There's a new trailer for the Evil Dead game, which kind of made me less excited for it.
Yeah.
So the Evil Dead game it's basically like that Friday the 13th game that came out a few years ago. It's online. It appears to be online only. That everything they showed was online. And they never mentioned anything about story. You can play as various Evil Dead characters, and you're running around killing deadites out in the woods. Or you can play as the deadites and try to kill the people. You have to collect pages of the Necronomicon, where just like in the Friday the 13th one, you have to collect like weapons, or you can start up like, you have to get like an engine and gas and stuff for a car so you can build it and escape. Like it's exactly that kind of thing. And the only voice clips you heard, well, there's only one voice clip that you hear, and it's recycled from Army of Darkness, so I'm wondering if they even had an original dialogue recorded for this. Bruce Campbell does narrate the trailer, so that's cool, I guess, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know, I love Evil Dead, and this game, visually, it's really gorgeous, but I wish it was being used for something cooler.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little disappointing.
You know what else looked a little disappointing to me? But
What?
Alan John would probably likely disagree with me.
What?
Can we get to it now? Can we say the big news, the FromSoft news?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was just going to get to that next.
Elden Ring. Woo!
That's legitimately a big guess. I'll give that one to Keighley. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, for sure. Because people have been anticipating this for a very long time. And yeah, that got in on Summer Games Fest before it got in on E3. So no, good on him. It's just the game didn't look that great to me. It looked kind of like a PS3 game, but who knows? I mean, I'm gonna play it. I like those type of games.
That's always weird to me when people say it looks like a PS3 game, because I still think of the PS3 as being like this super high-end new console. Oh, dude, and then I have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, that came out 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was a giant leap between the PS2 and PS3 in terms of most things, but
yeah, I think my brain will always be stuck there. Yeah. I don't know enough about FromSoft games to really give an opinion on Elden Ring right now. I'd rather wait until Alan John is here next week. Yeah. Because I know this is his thing he's super, super excited about.
So is he going to be here next week, or is he going to keep ignoring us?
I hope he'll come. I mean, if we tell him he's allowed to talk about Elden Ring.
Okay, good. I still think that we're the podcast experts. Right on our coattails. People come here to see us. They don't come here to see Alan John, as will be shown with how many views this particular podcast will get.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure it'll be a lot.
So there is one other announcement I want to talk about. It wasn't announced at Summer Games Fest or E3. It just kind of came out randomly. There's going to be an enhanced remake of Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know much about that game?
I don't. I know that it's super cute, super fun, and everybody's happy at the end.
Yep.
Okay.
That's basically the gist. And I don't know. I'm actually really excited about it, because that was a game released for free. It was made by a relatively small team in a short amount of time, and I like parts of it. I think about halfway through, it jumps the shark and kind of ruins everything that's going for it. But I love the first half. I think the writing is. It's hard to talk about without getting into specifics. But the writing is really good. Dan Salvato has a great sense of character, and he can write in a way where every character feels well-rounded, and he does it very concisely, so you never feel beat over the head with anything. Mm-hmm. And some of the characters do get sidetracked a little bit, which is something I saw interviews with him where he said, he really regretted he couldn't do more with such and such or so and so. And so I'm actually really excited about this. It's going to be like a full visual novel that presumably will keep the tone of the original. There are certain parts of it that I'm curious to see how they translate to consoles. You can kind of see if you look in the trailer how they're going to do it. I don't know if it'll work as well, because it gets very meta. You have to you got to close the game at a certain point or uninstall it or something. You have to go into the game files and start messing with certain files in there. So cool. You can kind of see how they do that in the trailer. If you look in the main menu, there's a section that says files, so I guess that's how they'll do it. But that seems not quite as elegant to me, because most games don't have that. The reason it worked on PC was because it really felt like you were breaking the bounds of the game. But if that's how they have to do it to get to consoles, I mean, whatever, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm really excited about that. I remember my mind getting blown the first time I played a game similar. Well, I don't even know how to describe it, where you sort of had to do something outside of the confines of the actual game, and that was in
Phantom Hourglass for the DS. Have you ever played that one?
Never played it.
All right. Well, there's a part in the game where you have like a journal, and then there's like a stone or something, and you had to copy what's on the stone to your journal, and it just says press it down onto it. And I'm like, what do you mean? It doesn't make sense. Like, you got your journal on the lower screen.
Oh, I get it.
Screen, press it down onto it. And I had no idea what to do. And it blew my mind that it wanted you to close the lid and then open it back up. I'm like,
that's genius.
Yeah, but I was like, can I get a hint? Can I get more of a hint, please? And this was early on in the game too. So I'm like, is there controls that I'm missing? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, but it needed to give me a little more of a hint. Like, by the way, you're playing this on, and that's the thing is that doesn't transfer to like
if you play it on an emulator or something.
Yeah.
Or what if you played it on a 2DS, like the original one that has no hinge?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess you can put it into sleep mode. Would that do it? Maybe.
Yeah, sleep mode would have done it. Yeah. Because I think that's how it works on the 2DS when you're doing that. But this was for the original DS, so.
I'm trying to think of a transition to the EA hack. I kind of wish I hadn't brought up Battlefield 4 earlier, because maybe there's a transition there, but I don't even know about that.
Wait, transition to what? What EA hack are you talking about? Nailed it.
Can't use that. That's the fucking... Yeah, we're the podcast masters. Oh, look at that. That was smooth. Goddamn professionals. So silky smooth, no one will even realize we're talking about something new. Yeah. Okay, do you want to lead with the EA hack?
Okay, fine. Keep that conversation in, or don't. I don't care. So yeah, EA hack, guys. There was a hack of EA. EA, that stands for Electronic Arts. They do video games. Yeah, you're welcome. I know that you knew that, but not necessarily everybody knows that.
And what does EA make?
Video games. They make,
okay, thank you.
Yeah, they make several of them. They made the old Harry Potter video games. They made a couple other things. Okay, but yeah, being a little more serious than this. So about 780 gigabytes of data was stolen from EA. That's a lot of data. That's so many megabytes. That's less than a terabyte, but something like
still
that.
Still a lot.
So, yeah. So a lot of what they took were the SDK and API keys for. Well, I guess I'll let you talk about that, because that was sort of what you wanted to talk about. But I wanted to talk about the Frostbite engine that they got the code for that, and they're trying to sell it.
Yeah, so Frostbite is EA's proprietary engine that they use on just about everything. It was developed for Battlefield by DICE, but they use it for Anthem, they use it for all the FIFA games, they use it for NFL, Mass Effect Andromeda was on it. Basically anything EA is doing nowadays is on Frostbite. So obviously it's very valuable.
Exactly, and this isn't just a rumor. This is something that EA officially announced that, yeah, this did happen. They quoted that, or I'm quoting them, where they said, an amount of game source code and related tools were stolen, no player data was accessed, and we have no reason to believe that there's any risk to player privacy. Following the incident, we have already made security improvements and do not expect an impact on our games or our business. We'll talk about that in a second, but we're actively working with law enforcement officials and other experts as part of this ongoing criminal investigation. So they're being narcs about it. Yeah, so of what was taken was the lots of stuff, 780 gigabytes worth of stuff. Do you believe, Steven, that this hack will not have an impact on their games or their business, like they say?
The Frostbite engine, I don't know, because I'm not sure what the practical application of that is. I mean, obviously you could develop games in it, but it's going to be too big and hard to use for any homebrew developer, and no legitimate company would buy stolen code and use it to mimic the Frostbite engine.
But couldn't you use it to find vulnerabilities in video games? Like, let's say one of the Battlefield games, if the source code and all of that was leaked, I mean, clearly we already have people hacking in those games, so there's anti-hacking measures. But if you have the entire code, you can find, or theoretically a hacker could find small why can't I say that word?
Vulnerabilities?
Vulnerabilities. They can find small vulnerabilities. That is not an easy word to say. And, you know, hack the shit out of this multiplayer game.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the source code for the game itself. They just have it for the engine.
You don't think that they can use that to exploit anything?
You know, I guess I don't know enough about the specifics. I mean, maybe they could affect structural things. I don't know if it would be a complete, like, ruining of the game, though. Yeah, that's hard to say. I don't know, possibly.
No idea.
And either way, these guys, well, they're looking to be bought off, like, you know, most of these ransomware people are. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, or will they release it to the public if they don't get paid off by EA? Maybe,
perhaps. And I mean, like, they're already listing it for sale. How much are they? They're asking for a shit ton of money that they're not going to get. But
just like when Cyberpunk was, or CD Projekt Red was hacked, also.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if this will be like a Capcom situation where they'll find stolen art and then, like,
it'd be awesome.
Yeah, EA gets sued. But yeah, you know, a surprising amount of people are like, yeah, screw EA. I'm so happy that they were hacked. I'm like, oh my God, guys, come on, chill out.
Yeah, I mean,
like, do you think that I think that EA should buy it back and you know, give in to the ransomware and let the bad guys win, because that way they'll have everything back and they'll feel a sense of pride and accomplishment for getting it all back.
Yeah, or they should have to do menial tasks for the hackers for 45 hours.
Yeah, to exactly. Get there. It's like you could either do the menial tasks or you could just, you know, buy it up front. So
just a little shortcut to get your stuff that you want. Yeah,
sell it back piece by piece, but in like loot boxes, like the actual, like, getting the source code for Frostbite back. That's like a 1 in 3,000 chance of getting it. Okay. So yeah, it's not good that they're hacked, but you know what? It is kind of funny though.
It is a little, yeah. So the other thing that was stolen was private SDKs and API keys from Xbox and Sony. There's not really a ton to say about this other than that can be used to find vulnerabilities in the systems. Presumably it would be for the PS4 and the Xbox One, possibly even the newer consoles, I guess. But that kind of thing was used to, you know, make hacks on the PS3, and the 4 and the Xbox One really haven't been cracked yet in any reasonable way. So who knows? This could lead to that, maybe, but there's nothing definitive to say right now whether that's going to happen. It's all a matter of if anyone will pay for it, or if anyone, you know, or if this stuff just gets released to the public anyway. But I don't know that I can imagine any hacker paying a giant ransom for this, right?
I mean, what kind of hacker has the money to pay that giant ransom? And I don't know. I never understood why, you know, how these ransomware, like, does this work for them? Like, how often do they actually get bought out and make it out scot-free? You know what I mean? Like,
doesn't appear often. I mean, I guess the Capcom one, everything leaked because Capcom didn't pay up, and I never heard anything about those guys getting in legal trouble, but they didn't get their money either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's weird. It's like people who rob banks. You know, usually if you rob a bank, like, you're likely gonna get caught, like very likely gonna get caught, and then it wastes my time because I gotta defend you. Stop robbing banks. I say that to clients sometimes. Well, not about robbing banks, but I'm like, hey, so I know that this is your 4th time that you were charged with driving on a suspended license. You should do me a favor and stop driving until your license is valid, because you're wasting my time.
What do they say to that? How do they take to that?
Oh, don't worry, man. I'm not going to do it ever again. I'm like, all right, see you next week.
Do people give you attitude a lot? I would feel awkward being like...
Yeah, I get attitude all the time. Yeah. I had a guy who... he was charged with the DUI, and he was on Zoom, right? Because we were doing like Zoom calls.
You meant he was on Zoom while he was driving?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, he was?
Yes, he was.
Oh, wow.
He was pleading guilty, and I messaged him directly. I'm like, you are currently pleading guilty to a DUI. Pull over, stop driving, and stop smoking. Because he was smoking while he was driving. And he had his hand covering the camera. And I'm like, oh my God, my guy.
Oh my God, that's genius.
It was ridiculous, and I swear I'm not making that up. So, Yeah.
What did he say? Did he say that he was just in the passenger seat of the car or something?
No, you clearly see him. He didn't say anything, but you see him. His hands on the wheel, and his other hand is blocking the camera,
but not very well, apparently.
Because I could see him driving, and I'm like, okay.
All right.
I guess he was getting it in one last time because his license is probably revoked now.
Yeah, probably. Just one more for the road. All right, I think let's end it there because that was the best story to come out of this week.
There you go. 3 things: the EA hack, the Summers Games Fest, and my clients doing their client things. All right, bye everybody.
That's a fucking ballsy move. I respect that guy. He's pretty great, honestly.
I don't.
Yeah, you got to deal with him. All right, bye. Bye, everybody.